most of these schools are testing once a week right now, the low majors and the mids. They have to test 3 times a week starting next week, which means they can't manipulate the contact tracing as well. Like if you test once a week, the 2 days before you get tested, you can go non-contact.
Yeah.
Well, now you're testing 3 times a week during the season. It's much more difficult to be able to manipulate. And the biggest issue, according to Scott Drew and all these other guys that I talked to, is the contact tracing right now, where you're shut down for 14 days if a player tests positive.
Well, there's a lot of schools and conferences that if this Baylor situation happened, they'd be shut down regardless.
Yeah.
So because of the Big 12, they can go. I immediately thought of this weekend's football game with Clemson and Florida State, where Florida State refused to play. And that might not have been more – I mean, I'm sure part of it is always like they could infect our team and we'll have to shut down. Florida State also might have not wanted to get killed by 65 in football. I don't think that's going to be the reason why a Villanova or Arizona State sits out. It would be more on the health reason.
Yeah. They're worried.
They would be worried about, hey, well, if we get this now, we got to shut down for 2
They
weeks.
are, Rob. I've talked to somebody from one of those programs, and they are worried because they're like, well, if Scott Drew got it, how do we know their players aren't going to come down with it in a couple of days? They may test.
They could totally be
today
asymptomatic now, and they could could have COVID, and they could be spreading it in a week, which is when the Mohegan Sun is. So, yeah, I just think when you look back, and part of it's money, you're going to look at the bubbling situation. You're going to say, if we really wanted to do this, this was the only way.
Yeah.
This is the only, because everyone that hasn't bubbled has seen this at some level. So whether it's, Major League Baseball, I think it was Justin Turner getting a positive test in the World Series game, the last game of the season, or, it was always a possibility. This isn't surprising.